Hey, I'm Hunt, and this is Hunt on LSU, your channel for LSU Fighting Tiger football talk. Enjoy the video. We want you to leave a comment below, hit that like button, and subscribe right below the video. Enjoy. The dust has settled on this high school recruiting class. How would you rate it now that Dominic McKinley has signed and Terry Bussey is headed to College Station?
Yeah, it's funny. Halfway through the season, a lot of fans were really, raising their eyebrow, unimpressed with this class because it just didn't have star power, And it's funny how when you just are a little patient and you wait to see how the dust settles on these things, how a lot of times things have a funny way of working themselves together. A lot of times, this coaching staff really knows what they're doing, and it just takes some time for it to show. You pick up a bunch of late commitments, particularly from guys flipping from A&M that really helped you, like a Dominic McKinley. Tradez Green earns his fifth star. You pick up Weston Davis, who's a five-star on three, and all of a sudden you've got a class that ranks, seventh in the industry rankings, and you've got a class that ranks, I think, third in the on-3 ranking, either third or fourth. It was one of those two last I checked in the on-3 service ranking. So this is a class that sets you up very well to fulfill a lot of needs. I always like to judge a class on its composition, more so than probably any other guy in recruiting you're going to hear about, at least locally. I like to get a starting 22 out of your class. Well, you've got that and then some in this class with the guys you're bringing in.
One of those guys is Kaden Durham. I don't know if you saw this, but his track team, entering his final track season in the spring in high school, ran a 4x100 sub 41 seconds, which means all of them were in the low 10s. I didn't see the split times, but he was very much a part of that. He excites me as a running back with that kind of home run hitting potential and the playmaking he made in the state of Texas. What's your overall thoughts on Kaden Durham in this class?
Yeah, Kaden Durham is one of, I'd say, the more underrated prospects in this class. That Duncanville High School offense is just, it's otherworldly. And not to mention DeCorian Moore, the five-star receiver committed for next year for the 2025 class, is also there, and their quarterback is getting lots of D1 looks as well. Kaden Durham it ran for over 250 in the Class 6A state championship there in Texas, which is no small feat, I assure you. He's got top-end speed, a ton of talent. I think that he's going to get a chance to get some early carries, especially with a lot of backs at LSU. It was a very crowded backfield last year at LSU with 8 guys back there. Well, you're losing the majority of those guys, especially the guys who weren't difference makers. I mean, we love Noah Kane, but, he was not a guy who was taking over football games with 150-yard performances, right? He was just kind of there. So yes, Josh Williams will be back, and he'd be probably your first look back, but there's plenty of other opportunities to look around, and Kaden Durham will be in the mix right there next to a Caleb Jackson, who's probably going to get your second nod behind Josh Williams, and then Trey Holly. Don't forget Trey Holly. I mean, everybody talked about Caleb Jackson last year, and rightfully so, but Trey Holly's a beast in his own right. I would say Kaden Durham will be right up there with Trey Holly working for those third back reps.
One more recruiting question before we get to some breaking news out of Los Angeles. Brian Kelly's philosophy, and he's very open and forthright about this, like, we're going to hammer high school and kind of use the portal as we need it. I think some other schools are leaning a little bit more heavily on the portal. Your thought on that overall as it pertains to LSU's strategy?
Yeah, I've been asked by a few people, does the recruiting class even matter as much anymore because of this era of isn't transfer portal the way to go? And you look at LSU's team. I mean, Will Campbell, was he a portal guy? No. And look at the impact he's going to have on the program. Emory Jones. I mean, you're two bookend offensive tackles for 3 years that you're getting. You're much better off getting a bunch of guys like that you can develop your own. And, of course, using the portal to plug holes as needed because, I mean, frankly, everybody else is going to do it. But we saw last year, we've seen the portal giveth and the portal taketh right? Not in the sense that it's taking your own players, but when you're taking players out of the portal, sometimes you hit on a bunch of these guys, and that's great. 2022, they did that. And they built a team that was really good, which included the Heisman winner in that class and a bunch of good defensive backs. Jared Bernard, current Converse, Mekhi Garner, guys like that. In 2023, well, because all those guys were back in the portal and you hadn't had quite enough time to fill up your roster with just signing class guys yet, you went back and you had to do the same thing. 12, 13 guys or whatever, and you missed. So 1 year you hit, 1 year you missed. And I think that starting this endless cycle of every single year bringing as many portal guys as you possibly can, it's just not sustainable to build a program because there's way too much turnover and it relies on hitting at such a high rate. I really do like the way Brian Kelly is approaching it with, we're going to continue to try to focus on recruiting and retention and then use the portal as needed. Or if there's, a high talent guy you can pull in who can add something, absolutely.
Hey, thanks for watching Hunt on LSU. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.